bro. Don't tell me I'm soft and I ain't done nothing. If I did something, I'd stand on it.
People like to see all this rubbish, you know, and they think it's all like this stage, which it's not. It is unnecessary. We have a good fight. We've got a fight whose these two guys' styles will complement each other.
As the world eagerly awaits the intense showdown between Fabio Wardley and Jarrell Miller, industry experts are continuously sharing their reactions to this highly anticipated fight. Meanwhile, their recent press conference kicked off with nothing short of a verbal clash, with tensions running high throughout the event. Fabio Wardley was quick to stir the pot, making bold claims and continuously boasting about his dominance. From the start, he teased a chaotic atmosphere, insisting that it was he who chose Jarrell Miller as his opponent, giving him the opportunity to prove himself in the ring.
That's what June 7th is
shut up,
for.
bro. Come say it to my face.
Like, the game...
Come say it to my face.
Let's be real.
Come say it to my face.
I picked you.
Come say it to my face.
I picked you.
Come say it to my face.
You talk about I'm avoided, no one wants me, no one wants to fight me, no one wants this.
Come say it to my face.
I picked you.
Come say it to my face.
I picked your name. I looked at the list and I picked your name and I said, cool, who's the big guy who thinks they're the big I am in the division? Big baby, let's pick that one. Let's teach him a lesson. I picked you.
While Jarrell Miller reminded Fabio Wardley to take a look at his own record, Fabio wasn't about to stay silent. Instead, he fired back, accusing Jarrell of having a record that pales in comparison to his own professional career. The press conference turned into a heated exchange, with both fighters trading barbs and sending sharp warnings. The atmosphere was charged with a mix of blame, deflection, and verbal jabs, creating a tense back and forth throughout the event.
Listen, man. Real men do go down. I'm right now. Your missus come see me. I'm taking her from you, buddy. Let me say this, man. You know, I don't mind doing the gimmicks and the fun stuff and all that. But like I said before, man, I don't play. I don't play the sport. You know what I mean? I've come from every fight background you would think of, man. This is what I do. I was bred for this shit. So he never been in the ring with somebody like me. You know what I mean? David Adelaide, good win. You know, we got a draw with that big punk motherfucker. What's his name? Clark. Then, you know, he fucked him up the first, second time. I ain't them. I'm not them. Google my motherfucking name, Big Baby. It's the reason why they call me that. I make motherfuckers cry. And then come Saturday night.
As things heated up, Jarrell Miller couldn't stay seated any longer, clearly frustrated by Fabio Wardley's verbal attacks. He stood up, blasting back at Fabio, and made his way toward the stage, nearly getting into a physical altercation. Jarrell repeatedly taunted Fabio, insisting that he wasn't a tough guy at all. The press conference quickly spiraled into chaos, with both fighters on the verge of a brawl. Security had to step in and separate them, restoring some order to the increasingly uncontrollable situation.
Who you talking about?
There's nothing on here. I said, what, a draw in 5 fights? I went, what are you doing?
I fought a guy 7-0. Who the fuck you fighting 5 fights? Motherfucker, that was 1-25.
I thought you did your homework.
Suck my dick.
Thought you did cake the
land.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Feel like what? Feel like what, bro? I'm built just the same. I ain't built none of bro. I ain't built none of tough, bro. You're not tough. I'm your whack ass toe is whack, bro. You so whack, bro. You're not tough.
Amidst the chaotic moments, Jarrell Miller boldly challenged Fabio Wardley, daring him to call him a baby killer, referencing a song he believed Fabio had made to diss him. Jarrell emphasized his fierce fighting persona and explained why he was so furious, asserting that no one in the boxing world would dare to provoke him in such a manner. He pointed out that Fabio had been taunting him from the start, even going so far as to release disrespectful tracks aimed at him. Meanwhile, Fabio appeared completely unaware of any track directed at him. Unfazed, Jarrell turned back to Fabio, warning him that if he was going to make diss tracks, he needed to remember that Jarrell comes from a death track, hinting at the tough background that fuels his intensity.
I dare you to fucking say it. Say Big Baby Killer. Say it. Say it.
Come on,
Stop. Kill my nuts, thank you. That's what faggots do. They make tracks. But yeah, Big Baby Killer. Nah, I mean, he ain't doing none of that. I press every heavyweight. I press Deontay, AJ. I press people. I go to gyms and I whoop people ass. Only person that ever got over me was Dubois because I had last minute notice. Only person. Nobody gets over on me. Never.
Right, I hear what you're saying. Let's all now keep calm.
Nigga,
it's not good.
Now you making a track about Big Baby Killer. And where I come from is a death track. It's a death track. It's a fucking death track. What is that I'm trying to tell you?
The tension didn't stop there. As Jarrell reminded Fabio of the song, Fabio remained adamant, openly denying any involvement in producing such a track. He firmly insisted that Jarrell shouldn't indulge in false accusations and should instead focus on himself. However, Jarrell was far from calming down. In a moment of frustration, he even slapped Fabio on the head. Fabio, visibly disgusted by the move, immediately looked around for something to throw at Jarrell in retaliation. However, he was quickly restrained by his team, preventing any further escalation.
I don't know what song you're talking about.
You work that song and trap people, man, bro.
I made no song. I don't make
So
no
definitely
music.
fucking face
I
going
don't make no music. I ain't made no song. So whatever you heard or whatever you're on ain't me.
You saw, bro.
Don't tell me I'm soft and I ain't done nothing. If I did something, I'd stand on it. If I made something, I'd stand on it. If I did something, I'd stand.
Frank Warren, who was also present at the press conference, shared his immediate reaction afterward. While expressing his excitement for the upcoming fight, he couldn't help but voice his concerns about how the press conference unfolded. He condemned the event, expressing his dissatisfaction with the way things went, with both fighters getting personal and serious with each other. Frank referred to the brawling scenes as nothing more than unnecessary drama. Instead of focusing on the chaos, he emphasized that this is a highly competitive fight for both Fabio Wardley and Jarrell Miller, urging that their conversations should reflect the intensity and competitiveness of the matchup rather than descending into personal attacks.
Well, it's exciting, but I don't like these press conferences. I really do not like it when it goes this way. I don't like all that language and all the stuff that goes down. Totally unnecessary because we've got a really, really good competitive fight between Fabio and Big Baby. It's a very, very competitive fight.
Viewing it as complete nonsense, Frank went on to assert that both the language used and the actions taken during the press conference had no real value. He emphasized that such behavior must stop, drawing attention to Chris Eubank Jr.'s $100,000 fine from the British Boxing Board of Control for similar action. Frank argued that these antics don't add any real substance to the press conference. Instead, they only escalate tensions and fuel anger, leading to negative consequences between the fighters.
Got security here, they're here for a reason, and it just seems it's happening a little bit too often now on some of these press conferences, and it needs to stop. I mean, the Board of Control, well, they fined him 100,000 quid, Eubanks for something stupid he done, and you know, this is not on.
Adding more criticism, Frank noted that the events at the press conference had unnecessarily added jeopardy to the matchup. He acknowledged that people might enjoy such drama, finding it amusing and assuming it's all staged, but he made it clear that it wasn't. Frank emphasized that both Fabio Wardley and Jarrell Miller possess unique and distinct fighting styles that will complement each other in the ring. His primary focus, he stated, is on seeing them battle it out in the ring, where their styles will clash. Frank highlighted that while both fighters are sure to turn this fight into a war, it should only happen inside the ring, not in front of the cameras.
I think it's nice putting, you know, I mean, a lot of people like to see all this rubbish, you know, and they think it's all like this stage, which it's not. It is unnecessary. We have a good fight. We've got a fight these two guys' styles will complement each other. It'll be an absolute complete war in the ring, which is where we want it to be.
Meanwhile, sharing his overall perspective, Frank Warren weighed in on the matchup, offering his thoughts on Fabio Wardley's prospects. He highlighted that Fabio lacks an amateur background, but has made impressive progress in a remarkably short time. Frank praised Fabio's rapid development, emphasizing how far he's come in such a brief period. He also pointed out that Fabio has previously fought in white-collar contests during his professional career. With the upcoming bout against Jarrell Miller, Frank believes Fabio will face the toughest opponent of his career to date.
Well, I tell you what, it's, you know, you look at it. You look at Fabio. He's not got an amateur background. He's fought on the white-collar circuit, you know, tough guy contests, and look at what he's done in a very short space of time as a professional boxer. It's been brilliant. But this will be his toughest fight yet. And, in my opinion.
Meanwhile, during the press conference, Jarrell Miller remained adamant about a song called Big Baby Killer, which he believes Fabio Wardley released. On the other hand, Fabio Wardley repeatedly denied having produced any such track. Frank Warren, addressing the matter, confirmed that he had never heard a song or diss track with that title. He emphasized that if such a track existed, he would have recognized it without question, but he had not heard it. Despite Jarrell Miller's claims, Frank went on to condemn his actions, stating that none of this justified the behavior displayed during the press conference. He said, "I think I have not even heard of it. I mean, I certainly wouldn't doubt very much if I've been listening to it. I haven't heard it, and you know that still doesn't justify all that nonsense." Moving on, during the press conference, Jarrell Miller wore a Norwich shirt, clearly aiming to stir up tension with Fabio Wardley. Afterward, Fabio spoke candidly with the media about Miller's choice of attire. He pointed out that someone needed to let Miller know that it wouldn't work in his favor. Fabio emphasized that his last opponent had also worn the same shirt, and things didn't go well for him. He advised Jarrell to throw the shirt in the bin and choose something else to wear, suggesting that it wouldn't help him in the upcoming fight.
Has anyone showed him how well that worked out for my last opponent that wore a Norwich shirt to an Ipswich Town ground? Because it didn't work out too well for them. That's a bad omen in of itself. So my advice to him would be leave that behind, find a bin somewhere, put it in quickly, swap it out, wear something else.
Reflecting on Jarrell Miller's typical way of sending warnings, Fabio dismissed it as just the usual approach of an American fighter. He pointed out that such warnings lack substance when they weren't backed by any real foundation. Fabio urged Jarrell to think outside the box and come up with something more original, insisting that relying on slurs and using a brash tone wouldn't help him build a strong image. Instead, he challenged Miller to use his imagination, suggesting that he should focus on finding a genuine weakness in Fabio and address that in his warnings rather than just resorting to empty threats.
American, like, there's nothing there. Like,
it's a very American
it's
bit
such
of
an
trash talk,
American trash talk. Like, yeah, f you, man. You don't know shit. You're gonna kiss. I'm gonna make you suck my dick and fuck you. Like, bro, like, chill out. Like, no one, like, relax. Nothing. You're not making any sense. No one cares what the fuck you're saying. Like, you're just waffling for the sake of waffling. Like, if you've got something to say, if you've got some real trash talk, then talk it. But like, have some substance, have something to say. Like, think, like, use your brain a bit, think about something, think about me, find a weak point in me, or say like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking fuck up your nose again, or something. Like, come up with something with a good imagination.
Taunting Jarrell Miller's fighting style, Fabio Wardley claimed that Jarrell is only good at taking punches to the head. While acknowledging that Miller is a skilled fighter, Fabio emphasized that in his eyes, he's a one-trick pony. He pointed out that Jarrell's main tactic has been absorbing punches with his head, much like Joe Joyce, and argued that it's a trick Miller has relied on throughout his career. Fabio made it clear that he's fully aware of this strategy and knows how to handle it. He added that this approach has a limited shelf life and warned that if Jarrell tries to use it again, he will regret it this time around.
Taking punches to the head? Okay. Look, the credit I can give him is that he's a strong game and he can take a hit. Those credits I will give him. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to dumb him down and say he's entirely shit and that. And don't get me wrong, for me, I look at him, I think he's a one-trick pony, and we know what that trick is, we know what he does. But he's done him pretty well in his career to date. How long does that trick last? We've seen the demise and the downfall of Joe Joyce, who used a similar tactic of blocking punches with your head. So, yeah, that really does have a finite shelf life of your career. Yeah.
On the other hand, Jarrell Miller isn't underestimating his opponent, Fabio Wardley. Promising to end the fight with violence, he confidently claimed to see nervousness in Fabio's eyes even now. Jarrell was firm in his belief that Fabio is intimidated, asserting that he lacks the true courage to face him and that it's the people behind Fabio who have encouraged him to step into the ring. Miller warned Fabio not to take him lightly, stressing that he's not someone to be written off as a pushover. He made it clear that he is determined to deliver a performance that will leave Fabio with a brutal beating, and he truly means it.
He's definitely nervous, 100% nervous. He's definitely trying to put on the front. You know, they put the batteries back to take this fight. You know, I'm not somebody that's called out. You know what I mean? So it has to be something that somebody either said to you or kind of egged you in this direction. You know what I mean? So
Clear in his stance, Jarrell Miller declared that Fabio challenging him at certain points was a sign of disrespect. He asserted that while he has faced bigger names than Fabio, he doesn't believe Fabio deserves to be challenging him. Jarrell pointed out that this often happens with fighters who climb the rankings and start calling out opponents who are bigger in size and caliber, and that's exactly what Fabio's doing. He expressed his strong belief that Fabio knows exactly who he's up against and is fully aware that he has a tough opponent this time around.
100%, you know what I mean? But like I said, sometimes people get high up in the rankings and they feel they can challenge anybody. But that's boxing too, though. Sometimes you got to do that to get your name out there. And like I said, outside of Ipswich and maybe London, nobody knew who the Fabio Wardley is. But he knew who Big Baby is. So at the end of the days, he felt like, you know, he can make a name fighting me and get knocked the fuck out. You know, like I said, the boy got the skin of his teeth, lucky. But like I said, it's a different person when I have a training camp, you know what I mean? And like I said, I've been dealing with a lot of shit outside the boxing ring that we're gonna, you know, subside until, you know, the fight's over. But like I said, it's a different person when I'm in training. Totally different person when you're fighting.
As the boxing world eagerly awaits the highly anticipated fight between Fabio Wardley and Jarrell Miller, Adam Catterall has criticized the matchup. He argued that Jarrell Miller doesn't even deserve this opportunity, pointing out his past involvement with drugs containing tainted supplements. Adam labeled Miller a drug cheat, highlighting his use of substances like EPO, commonly known as the Lance Armstrong drug. Adam reminded everyone that Miller had used this substance during the build-up to his fight with Anthony Joshua, something that posed serious risks. According to Adam, Miller held Anthony Joshua's career in his hands, and the situation was far more serious than it may seem. He stressed that this shouldn't be forgotten and called for more severe punishment for Jarrell Miller as a result.
Listen, we can talk openly on this program, we always do. I'm not his biggest fan either. Personally, I don't think he should be allowed to box because of what he attempted to do. It wasn't like he was caught with tainted supplements or anything like that. That fella tried to cheat. It's as simple as that. He got caught with the likes of EPO in, which is the Lance Armstrong drug. You can't accidentally ingest that. He did it on purpose. He tried to cheat in the build-up to the fight with Anthony Joshua. And this is a very, very dangerous sport. And when you are doing that and taking, I know this is going to sound quite extreme, but the life of somebody else into your own hands, I think there should be severe punishments for that. He's got some type of punishment. He has served that to an extent. And he's being allowed to come back in. I personally don't think he should be allowed to have these big paydays and benefit from what he did, but it is what it is. He is a personality. A lot of fight fans would like to see him maybe get flattened by Fabio Wardley, and that is why I suppose he's in this position.
Voicing his thoughts, Spencer Oliver echoed Adam Catterall's sentiment, expressing his dissatisfaction with Jarrell Miller being given the opportunity to fight Fabio Wardley. He emphasized that Jarrell is a notorious cheat, and instead of him, Spencer had hoped for other opponents to be considered for the fight against Fabio. However, he acknowledged that with Miller now in the mix, one thing is certain: the fight will sell out on a large scale. Spencer praised Jarrell's charisma and his ability to draw a large audience to the arena, noting that this adds a new level of danger for Fabio Wardley. He also recalled how Miller was torn apart by Daniel Dubois, suggesting that this could be Jarrell's chance to prove himself in the ring and redeem his reputation.
I agree with that. You know, I think I was slightly disappointed that, you know, we get Miller as the opponent. There was talk, obviously, of Kubrat Pulev, who's a WBA regular champion, and that's something that I would have liked to have seen. I think that's a more substantial fight for him, and I think that it gives him better opportunities. We get the interim fight against, like you say, a renowned drug cheat. He's not been caught once, he's been caught twice, he's been caught 3 times. You know, it's a repeated thing, and there should be harder punishments for that. One thing the guy is, Jarrell Miller, he's very charismatic. He will sell a fight, he'll come over here, he'll talk his way in. We saw the fight against Daniel Dubois, where he got absolutely smashed to bits in the end, but he was in there, looked very heavy-handed. It's a dangerous fight for Wardley.
Responding to the claims and opinions regarding drug cases, Frank Warren shared his perspective. He stated that if someone has been banned due to a drug-related issue, he respects them for serving their punishment. In the case of Jarrell Miller, Frank pointed out that he has served his suspension and is now free from the shackles that once held him back, allowing him to return to the ring. While Frank admitted that, in his opinion, anyone caught using drugs should be banned for life, he emphasized that the current regulations don't reflect this. He urged critics to acknowledge that Jarrell Miller has served his punishment in line with the rules and regulations. Frank also confirmed that Miller will undergo all necessary VADA testing before stepping into the ring, assuring that they are taking all the proper steps to ensure everything is in order.
I respond to that. I can see where they're coming from, but the fact of the matter is, it's like if you go to prison, you're found guilty of a crime, you go to prison, you serve your sentence, and the slate gets wiped clean. And it's not a lifetime ban, it's what it is. If it's a lifetime ban, then that'd be the end of it. He's served everything he's had to serve under the rules and regulations. I think anybody who cheats with the drug should be banned for life. That's my opinion of it, but that's not the case. So we work within the regulations. He's fought in Riyadh against Daniel. He's had a fight since against Ruiz, which he got a draw, which I thought he won that fight, by the way.
Yeah.
It is what it is. He'll be tested regularly here and by VADA. He's on the VADA program, UK program. He will be tested.
Okay.
That wraps up today's discussion on the highly anticipated showdown between Fabio Wardley and Jarrell Miller. We've seen the tensions rise, the trash talk fly, and the controversy surrounding Jarrell's past. But one thing's for sure, this fight is going to be a spectacle. What do you think? Will Fabio Wardley's rapid rise to the top be enough to handle Miller's experience and intimidation tactics? Or will Miller prove that his return to the ring is for real? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's keep the conversation going. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time as we get closer to fight night.